Yes, you're a Christian. You decide to go in for a Muslim. Like I say, you can marry. But the question is, can you overcome the challenges that comes with it? That's the whole question. That's why it's not advisable. Because the challenges are there, whether you like, no matter how you pray, it's there. Now the question is, so if you, let's take it this way. You are married. That Muslim, they have their doctrines. What is the first thing? You can even marry more than 3 or 4, right? As a Christian, in your mind, you know. As a wife.
No, not in your mind. Your Bible doesn't tell you that.
You know, the word has been imparted into your mind. So in your mind, you know that my husband and myself.
Polygamous, no.
So now the simple question, now you are married, and now the next day the man is bringing another woman to the house. What are you going to do? That's what I'm saying, that you are building, it's like you putting your hand in fire and hoping that it not
get bent.
No.
You definitely
no, it's there. But you see, many people have entered because they started and they were at the passion stage. And like I said, this is the stage you always say, oh, love covers all. Love covers all. Love covers all. The love will cover all. But that's still, unfortunately, you are not moved by love. You are moved by passion. If you were moved by love, you'd have, because love is a decision, so you sit down to think.
Analyze.
Ask yourself, can I ever forever be patient with this person? The way he or she is so annoying. Can I ever be patient with this kind of doctrine, this behavior?
So I need to pray 5 times a day.
So
and I don't need to disturb you.
So
I need to give you the space and time.
That's all. So when you have this understanding, then you can now decide whether you choose to love this person or not. That's what I say. So unfortunately, from the start or from the word go, it was never love, it was passion. And when you look at passion, passion is like wind. It's just passing. It has no substance. You can't even see to feel it. But love, you can feel love. You can feel it.
Interesting. You mentioned 7 stages. You mentioned passion, realization stage, when the realization dawns on you that, look, what have I really put myself into? Now, you don't have any place to turn to. Now, which is the third? Yeah,
before we go to the third, the realization, there's so many marriages. So if you know, when you check around, most marriage cannot go beyond 3 years. So the passion stage normally,
I mean, lately.
Yes, the passion stage normally is from 0 to 3 years. This is how we look at it. 0 to 3 years. So the realization setting. So it's not most of the time. It's setting even when the woman gets pregnant, and you see, women,
the body changes.
Women before even marriage, they have their own anticipation or something. Perception about marriage and the way they want their husband to even treat them. Some even want their husband to follow them to antenatal and the rest. Now you get pregnant, and some men cannot even contain that changes. So that's the time they want to even distance themselves, and that woman will not feel loved. This is where the reality settles. Hey, so is it the kind of man the man I am married? Wow. But something now opens your eyes
and for
to
9
see
months,
the reality.
He's not going to have sex with you.
You understand? Some even avoid sex from a lot of changes now. Wow. No. This is why you hear people say, my husband has changed. This is not the Kwaku I married.
He's seen another woman.
This is not the year I married. Some women, when they are pregnant, the way they even speak, they are being controlled by the pregnancy.
The hormones.
So they can insult you. They can. And the husband is like, wow.
Is that
really?
The woman I married?
Are you? So a lot of things, and most people, because they are not oriented or they are not taught during counseling to know that.
Do you teach these things in counseling?
I teach. You can't go through my counseling without. Look.
How many months?
My counseling minimum is 3 months.
And you think 3 months is enough? How many times in a week?
No, minimum. I say minimum.
How many times in a week?
The minimum. The minimum is that if you can come for at least 3 times in a week, I can read the 3 months. Okay. But if you are not, then you are going for 6 months. 6 months. Yes.
So if I want to extend it.
Of course, that's what I say. And even I tell people at this stage, because of that hormones, which is natural, it's not anybody.
Away with it.
Most of the things we are saying, oh, you are thinking the pastor, just hurry up for us to, nothing. That's why some people can even leave their house, their mother's or father's house, because something is moving fire. It's a stage. And as a pastor, I understand. So once you are there, I understand that, look, most of the things I'm telling you, it passes here and it moves out. If I tell you the kind of messages I receive on my phone,
but they're the same people you counsel.
Of course, some pastor, everything you said is happening. I'm saying yes, it's good you know, so that you know the signpost. So when it happens, wow, really? I never thought this will happen, but it will happen no matter how you pray. You are human being and you are operating on 3 levels. That's why the Bible, you see, the Bible said a very profound thing. It said, how can 2 work together except they agree? So it means you must sit down as couple before you marry to ask yourself, how do you even want to raise your children? Because that will impact on your marriage.
Like you've not slept in his house before, and you've not slept in their house before, and you sleep on the first day, she's snoring.
Yes. All these things, I can't sing. And even how do you want to even manage your finances?
Who pays for what?
You have to agree on all these things. If you don't agree, look, it will come back and bite you, because the moment now you settle down, and now this person is passing this way, you two are passing this way. Whenever we talk of divorce, divorce simply, the word die means double. So it means just die vision. The moment we have double vision, there's a divorce. When I say, I want to now give birth to 5 children, and then one say, no, me, only 2. The person is, who is in charge here? I'm not the man, I'm not the head. Now fight, conflict. And if you're not able to manage that conflict, there's a double vision, and that double vision will lead to divorce. Finances, I come home and say, look, this month my salary is 1,000. Take it, my dear, keep it for the month. I have nothing on me. You come the next day and want to say, some clothes came and head, and it explained, where do you want me to get money? I sat down with you as a wife. This is the money we have. Let's manage it. And you spent all within 2 weeks. So the next 2 weeks, you have to be a man. No, this is not the kind of woman I wanted to marry. You are not helpful. So, you see, now reality has set in. Whether you like it or not,
it will come.
If you have to raise your children, you have to agree. Because for instance, a person, I told my wife, me, my first daughter or my first child has the right to, in fact, discipline all the siblings. Because I grew up in an environment where when even your younger brother or sister does something, you correct him or her, your mother will come and beat you. That's one thing I wanted to correct in my house. It's an error. So we are not ensuring leadership in our home. You understand? As a family, the first thing God created in marriage is leadership. That's why he waited for the man to establish something, name the everything, before he brought the woman. That's why he said the man is the head. I always tell people, it is only in marriage, because he created the man, and equally, they all have the image of God.
But also, man, head of the family, so because
we don't understand. We don't understand. Now watch it. Now God created a comparable, meaning they are all at the same level. But he established a relationship called leadership. Where, so for instance, here, you can have a manager. That perhaps you may even be qualified in terms of maybe education or maybe technical, know-how. Yet, the moment they choose this person as a manager, it will bring your strength down. Just follow his instruction. So God established leadership. And if you want to have a good family, the first thing you should now establish is leadership. And this is where most of us, our culture has destroyed. So we grow up where our younger siblings don't even respect the elder because of the way we discipline or we treat our elder, children. And it destroys the whole concept of leadership. So we grew up and our siblings don't even respect us. I wanted to correct that, and I explained it to my wife. My daughter, in fact, as to my children, no matter the run they come or the way they come, even the first person is a female,
a lady.
She has the right to control the second one. The second one has the right to control. It follows that way.
So even the second one is a male?
Of course. The same way that when something goes wrong and I come, if, for instance, I have 4 children, if the 4th one was the one who did it, and I have to give her 2 things, you will get ×2. There's the next one. That's 4. The next one will get ×2, 8. You will get ×2, 16. It follows that way. Which means, when you talk about leadership simply means the ability to influence people to do the right thing. So never stand there and look at somebody do something wrong, and you come back and say, Amma did it. Yeah, I did it. So you saw it. And you didn't correct it. So that's it. So leadership is the first thing God created. And you must ensure. So you must agree on this. So that when you quit, you want to discipline your child. The woman doesn't, some women will come, no, don't beat her, don't beat him, don't beat, no. And it's happening. That alone can even collapse the marriage. Because the woman make the children feel that the father doesn't like them. All these things. That's what I'm saying. Well, before you marry, the first principle is understanding. You must sit down to ask yourself, are we agreeing on all these levels? But because of the passion stage, we look beyond those things. Like I said, in our minds, love covers all. So no matter the challenges that can pass, we will be able to overcome. Yes, you'll be able to overcome. But there are some challenges that you need knowledge to overcome. That's why as counselor, I always tell people, take their people through all these things. They may not even listen to all, but when it begins to happen, they will begin to remember, wow, this is what Pastor said. So I take them through all these things. So after the realization
stage,
when you're not able to manage it well, this is where it leads to a very serious stage called the rebellious stage. That's the stage. So whenever couples come to me and they are talking, the first thing I do is to assess the stage they are. In fact, the rebellious, this is the stage you get to that all of us do want to prove who is right.
Who is who?
So who is right? So when they have a conflict, this person feels I'm right, he also feels I'm right.
So no one is
willing to say sorry. So some even can go to a sense of lying again just to look good before the in-laws. They bring issues which was there, which was not anything. They have to look good. It's a serious stage. This is a stage that most women and most men cheat on their spouse, because that's a stage you begin to now remember that person who was chasing you, that you didn't. Good. Because now things become so critical in the house that you don't even talk to yourself. Communication breaks. A lot of things happens. And this is a stage that most people, and that's between 3 to 7 years. So most marriages, if you're able to cross 3 years, you've done well. You've crossed the first stage.
I got 3.
From the 3 years to 7 years, another stage. And somebody is watching me, perhaps at that level, and you're thinking of divorce. It's just a stage.
You can overcome it.
It's just a stage. It's just a stage, because sometimes it's about the temperament. You understand? The way you speak to her, what she doesn't like it. Now you go to your pastor and he tells you, let's pray. Like I said, this is temperament, this is psychological. The person needs to be taught. Sometimes I sit down with couples and I begin to not tell them. Sometimes I don't even ask you anything. The first thing I do, I ask you just 2 questions to know your temperament.
What questions do you ask?
So for instance, I ask you, are you sociable? Do you like friends? You say, no, Pastor, I don't like friends. Oh, okay. When you are there, somebody does something wrong. Do you get offended? Are you also yes? I say no. Then you're moving to melancholic. Yes, because they have a perfectionistic mindset.
They want everything to be in a certain way.
They want things to be. In fact, it even affect their sexual preferences, because they want you to move to them in a certain way. So if the husband doesn't move that way, she can even tell the police.
If the husband doesn't touch it, then there's a problem.
Because they have a certain thing they have built in their mind. Before my husband comes to me, he needs to say certain words to me.
He needs to tell me.
Yes.
If he doesn't tell me, he cannot come.
I always thought that they are living in their own tent.
Interesting.
They are living in their own. They've built certain castles in their mind.
In their own houses.
Yes. They've built certain castles in their house. And those people, they are the rubber type. You love to be with them because they will never expose themselves. So you can even look at your dressing and sometimes predict your temperament. Because a melancholic will never expose a breast like the other temperament. No, they don't want to do something that you speak bad against them. So when she does something, you shout at her, you break her. In fact, she may never do that thing again. So if you don't know that and you are choleric, you always make her feel bad, because the way you speak to her, she doesn't like it.
Apostle, me a wine. I want you to tell me.
Like I said, so the temperament, in fact, it plays a lot. So you go to a pastor, he will tell you, husband, I love your wife. They have wife to submit. They've done that. They'll come back home and stop fight, because here the temperament is clashing. You've not.
So at this stage, what do we do when the
you need knowledge? Is that whatever you see, it's our mind that affects our behavior. Whatever we are doing is inside here, the mind. So you need to now see the person and break the person. How?
So you're saying that there are certain things that we can totally overlook. There are things that
no overlook. I'm saying, so as a counselor, I meet people every day. So for instance, when you come and I discover you are this temperament, every temperament on its own is good. But when you meet, this is where some of the temperament will clash. So for instance, a sanguine is very outgoing type. They love fun. They want, but their interest is always to be among people. Melancholy don't like friends. In fact, they are task oriented. So watch it. They can be in that if your melancholy lady wants to wash or do something, she can be occupied by work the whole day that she may not even pick her phone to make a call. They are task oriented. Don't worry, you will know your temperament.
No. Who said
So now watch it. So with the sanguine, they are the outgoing type. So assuming the melancholic woman marries a sanguine who is always going out. Now you see, with the sanguine, you can go to a place, right? As soon as I came here with a sanguine, as soon as we sit down, he will go around talking to almost everybody. They love to socialize. Meanwhile, the melancholic doesn't.
Now we are frozen.
He will go around. Of course. And so the melancholy wife is sitting, because when they're in the midst of people, especially those that they don't know, they will never talk. So now watch it. This melancholy lady marries a sanguine. The sanguine always want to show off what they have.
I'm imagining what will happen in the house.
So now watch it. What they have when they buy a new car, I bought a car. They love to show off. That they are the people when they come to church. Every harvest they will promise, but they will not come and give them offering. In fact, so that's the sanguine. One person can't see money. They want to say see that's it. So now watch it. So the melancholic lady can be in the house, and with the melancholy they are standard people. What it means that before you ask her to do anything, speak to her in advance. They don't want impose something. She said no, she will never do, because she wants to do things in the right way. They believe that the process must be right. I want to do, but don't force me, don't push me. Let me take my time and do it right. So now watch it. The son can go out, meet friends, and say, Charlie, you first see my wife, and have a beautiful wife.
Beautiful wife. Let me show you a picture to you.
Now, no. He brings the
wife there.
Now call the wife. Now, my dear, my friends are here. Say, your friends? He didn't call to inform me.
I should have cooked.
I won't come out. No, I won't come out. You should have informed me, because I have to make sure I'm okay
looking beautiful
to present myself. That lady will never come out, and you're outside. Now what will happen? Your friends will leave. You don't see your wife. What will happen? You come and say, you don't respect me as a husband. I brought my friends in and refuse to see. That alone come. So most of the fight we are having in our house is just temperament that is clashing. I wouldn't rule out spiritual issues, but most of the issues we are having in our homes are temperament clashing.